To the Bicky podcast with a twist again. Another managerial interview, taking up my media duty roles. This time it is the turn of my media assistant and fellow manager, Jamie Brooking. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you, mate?
I'm all good, yeah. It's been an interesting few days. Very
It has
interesting.
been. It has been.
There's been some very intriguing results. For all the viewers, obviously, I know lots of people are following our tournament. Two of the lower skilled managers in myself and Lucas have managed to take out two of the higher skilled. Sorry, not two. The same higher skilled manager in Ryan
Yeah,
Carrier. He has lost to both of us, and he should not be losing to both of us.
yeah. Ryan's not had a great start to the tournament.
No,
I would say you have had a phenomenal start so far.
thank you.
In terms of what we would have expected or what we would have predicted, we would have just both assumed that you'd be down there at the bottom. But I think now at the moment you're most likely above Ryan in the table.
I think so. Yeah, I've got 2 wins and 2 losses, and I think he's got 1 win and 3 losses,
So
possibly.
yeah, yeah, it's and also as well, Lucas with the victory over Ryan as well, 4-1 victory. It
Yeah,
was very convincing as well.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been intriguing, but it's the tournament of anything can happen,
It
and I'm
is.
liking it.
It is. It could be Leicester could win the Premier League again. We just
Yeah,
never know.
who knows?
Right. So yourself then, how are you getting on with your team? You stuck with the Red Bull brand, so
Yes.
you already know the philosophy and the ethos. Has that settled in well with the team?
Yeah, I think the transition's been well. Obviously, the owners came in and kind of asked me to take the team on. So I was able to kind of transfer everything I knew that they expected already straight away to the team. Salzburg are already quite a winning team over in Austria, so there wasn't really a lot I had to change. I felt like this tournament I needed to change up a little bit and I needed to kind of experiment a bit more. And I've done that in games, whereas I think in previous tournaments I would have maybe a strict 13, 14 players that I would play. I feel I've done an excellent job this time of really giving a lot of the squad a real chance. And there's been a couple of people who have surprised me. Like, typically for me, when I was first looking, my two strikers up top, very quick, like above 70 rated. That was it. Those two were playing the whole entire time.
Yeah.
I've played both the backup strikers, and one of them I think I can rely upon now. And so I wouldn't have done that before. And also as well, like I know the midfield's solid. Like I can interchange who I would consider on my best two CDMs with my two backups, but I don't see a difference. So it's good. I'm happy with where it's at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you've won every game, haven't you, so far?
Yeah, I try not to look into it too much because obviously I've done previous tournaments where I've won all the what we'll say the league matches, and then when it gets to the playoff, it's all different. So for me, whereas before I remember there was one tournament where I put a lot of weight on me not losing a game, and then I ended up losing to Ryan or something like just before the playoffs. I'm trying not to put a lot of weight on it. Like we're just playing our league fixtures, and I want the boys to play well in each game. That's the aim from it.
Yeah. So obviously playing a lot of rotation as you are doing. Do you think you've learned a lot about yourself as a manager? The fact that you've changed up and you're using some of those secondary players.
Yeah, I don't think the first tournament helped me because not arguably, I did have one of the better teams. We might have argued about Ryan's first team and all that sort of stuff, but I arguably did have the best team and I had the best player, and so therefore it was just stick with those 11.
Yeah.
And because it worked, I then went the next two tournaments doing the same tactic as I was like, that's what got me there. And then the next two tournaments it just didn't work, and so now I feel like either you're going to sink or you need to adapt, and I'm trying to adapt. So I'm hoping that comes across. I'm trying to be better, but I mean, we'll just have to wait and see if it makes a difference. Do I get a victory in this tournament? I don't know, but I'm trying to be a lot more relaxed at it.
I think it is coming through. I mean, some managers have obviously already claimed that you're not as relaxed as you're making out to be. Could you
Yeah.
care to comment on those comments?
Yeah, I most likely get caught up in the moment sometimes, but I feel what manager doesn't. But after I've calmed myself down and I try and like let go of the situation, I feel I'm doing much better. I'm not saying I'm fully there yet. I'm not what I think I need to be, but I'm getting there.
I'd agree. I would definitely agree with that. Yeah. So obviously a theme throughout all of our tournaments really. We like to find those hidden gems, those players that aren't the superstars. So who's coming through in your squad as one of those?
Oh, well, I'm liking Okafor off my bench. He's kind of like he's down as a right mid, but I play him in the sort of like the outer cam role sort of thing. He's reasonably consistent, someone I'm happy with, sort of thing. I can't remember what his name is at the top of my head. I'm still getting to learn all the boys' names, but he's Japanese and he's quite quick and he's got a good left foot on him. And he's really shocking because the way obviously I play down, I do like quite a lot of overlaps. And sometimes my right back does introverted runs, so he always seems to find him out on the wing. So yeah, I wouldn't even say that like the goal scorers. I'm finding the middle of the pitch is the most exciting for me at the moment, where I'm finding the most hidden gems.
Yeah, cool. I hope some of them break through into the sort of team of the tournament. I mean,
Mm.
it'd be nice to have a team of hidden gems rather than
Oh, that would be
those
awesome if we
big
could.
players. Yeah. So obviously, in the last games that you played, or the last game you played, sorry, you seem to have worked out that there's a good way of scoring goals. How did you work that out? Was that through training? Was that through research?
Well, as I said, I'm trying to add a little variety to my game this year. And training session before, I was focusing on the boys at top, and I was like, right, I want us to go over chips. Where I want you to chip, like where we need to think the keeper needs to be, how high it needs to go. And just luckily for me, Daka saw those positions and went for it. And yeah, it might seem it comes across that it's overpowered, but now every game that we go into, the keeper doesn't know whether to come out or not. So when we're playing those through balls over the top through balls, the keeper's double guessing now whether to come, and that hesitation is what we will pull apart, and that's what I want.
Well, it certainly worked against the manager you played yesterday. I won't
Yeah.
name names, but it worked well.
It was a good game though. I
It was.
enjoyed it. I
It
felt like
was.
I felt both teams let a lot from it.
It was. For our viewers, it was against me. But it was. It was a good game. It was a good, fun game. So obviously, a hot topic on interviews today is formidable opponents. There's been a
Yeah.
bit of shade thrown about. We're waiting on a reply from a certain manager. Still waiting on his reply. Who do you see as your hardest, toughest opponent?
Personally, for me, if I'm going to say most difficult opponent, I think it has to be Sam, just because of like the storyline that has come across all of the tournaments. And every time that I play him, I think it's a difficult game. I think it's so 50-50 when we play each other as well. I mean, especially last tournament, I felt with when we did the MLS tournament, he was quite dominant, I would say, through the tournament when I played him. And then I felt like our boys did well in that final game when it was 3-3 and it went to golden goal. But yeah, I feel like he's always the most difficult person to play against. But I don't know. I haven't played him yet this tournament, and he does seem like a different Sam. He is not motivated by the team. It doesn't come across like that. He doesn't really know what the setup is, and he's just sort of like turning up and then just like winging it. And I don't think for a Sam, the way he's been so influential through these tournaments, that's not his play style. And so I'm really eager to see how he comes across in these next couple of games. Like I've got a big tournament or big couple of games coming. I've got Ryan and Sam, but obviously we'll touch on Ryan in a minute. But yeah, I'm eager to see how Sam comes across because I don't know if he's in the right headspace.
Yeah, obviously he lost out on his initial team. And for someone that prides himself on research and knowing a lot of facts, you'd think he would have had a second team lined up.
I mean, 4 teams in 4 days doesn't come across well.
I know. Obviously, like one of them you can argue for because they did change quality and they turned into 4.5 star rather than 4 star. But he panicked and he went with Spartak Moscow at first, and it just and then he went with Torino. Sort of, I don't really know where that came from. No one even mentioned Torino.
But yeah, he had like 2 hours to pick.
Yeah.
And out of all the teams, he then picked that one. And I was a bit like, I don't understand why. Because I played a friendly against them just to sort of see what the team was like. And I was just, I don't know where the excitement is from here.
Yeah, so I hope he does find the excitement, but there's obviously a lot of shade been thrown at him recently so far,
Mm,
and I hope he watches this before now so that he can comment on this. So
yeah.
that'll be interesting. So yeah, so we'll come on to Ryan then. What's going wrong? What is going wrong?
I don't know if it's the change. Like we spoke when we spoke about the pre-tournament, we did say will Ryan struggle because FIFA 21 is different to 20,
Yeah,
and I don't know if Ryan's capable of adapting. He, well, from what I saw in the game, was very convincing in the first half. Had 70% possession against Chug, was 2-0 up, and all of a sudden it just falls apart. And then his head's gone when they play in the friendly later on. I feel it's very much a mental war with him. He needs to be on his game mentally to be on the game to be on it physically. And I don't know. He's still got a long way to go. Like as you said in your interview to him, he is a second half of the season manager.
yeah,
He
yeah,
always seems to come out better there. I think he'll be inspired, and I think he'll be doing a lot of practice with the boys now. Whereas before, I think he would have been a bit more relaxed. I think now he's thinking, I don't want this to be embarrassing. So
yeah. Sort of finally then. So we've noticed with some of the games we've been playing that you've got obviously you've got your family with you. They've travelled with you to Austria.
yes,
Um, Not many of us have really got our families with us. We just got our wags. How important is it to have especially your mother, in the background cheering you on?
well, to be fairly honest, obviously you boys know Mandy very well, and Mandy knows all of you lot very well. A lot of the time, she's not supporting me, which I think always adds a little bit of a dynamic to the relationship, which I think is a bit of fun.
Does that
But
make you want to play better?
um, not really, because I'm not playing for her. I'm playing for the badge. Like I'm
Yeah,
playing for the team. So I wouldn't say she has an influence on anything that goes on in the game. I like it when she gets involved and she's cheering you boys on and she picks who she wants out of the two because I think it spices it up a little bit. But yeah, family's important to me to be surrounded by, and yeah, the internet's not great in Austria, but we're dealing with it and we're carrying on.
well, yeah. It's nice that you've got your family with you.
Yeah.
And we all appreciate Mandy's sausage rolls and her squash. Um,
For context for the viewers, my mum actually made sausage rolls during university for the boys, and they absolutely love them. So it's
yeah,
not like a hidden.
no, that
So
doesn't
there's
mean
not a hidden
anything there.
message
No,
behind that.
it's genuinely sausage rolls. Yeah, that's
So
all.
I think we need to kind of flip this round now. I think I need to ask you a couple of questions because I want
Yeah,
to
I think we
poke the
will.
bear a little bit.
I think we will.
So obviously, phenomenal start for you, as we said at the beginning of the interview. Um, what has changed so far? In previous tournaments, I would say, I mean, even one tournament you didn't partake in, and this tournament you just seem to, I don't know, like something's just going for you. Can you comment on that?
Um, There's a few things really. This team that I've chosen, I seem to have really clicked with. I think I've been guilty before of not really scoring in many games, and especially in that tournament where I had Ibrahimovic up top. I don't think I'm very good with having that one superstar player because I don't really know how to use the superstars in FIFA. I prefer it when the whole team is like the same quality and they all bounce off each other. So to have that Ibra up top, it was a lot. It was like I felt like I had to use him, and obviously it was a 35, 36-year-old Ibra, so he had no pace, a
Yeah.
little bit of strength. All he had was good shooting, and I didn't score many goals that tournament. And I think that's why. Whereas now I've got a whole team, whole squad. They've all got quite good bit of pace. To be fair, I think apart from like one or two centre backs, they're all like 70, 75 plus pace, which helps, especially in this FIFA. I think pace is
It
key
does
in
have an
this
effect.
FIFA, and I think the fact that we've all got this new FIFA, and it's only been out a month now.
Yeah, no one's had time to rag it, I would
Yeah,
say.
I think that's also helped because I got 20 quite late. You boys had already played it loads on 20, and I didn't want really good at 20, especially defending. I've certainly learned a lot of defending from previous tournaments. I know our joint CEO Chug has helped me a lot. Has taught me a few tricks of defending because that's always been a weakness. I just love attacking. I just love running down the wing, as everyone knows. But I think I defend a little bit better now, and I think it's coming through. And I just feel great with this team. I just love this team.
No, I'm glad. I'm happy that you've been able to find some success because I Lucas has obviously had success in the playoffs, being able to make it to the semi-finals before, but you've never really had what, apart from your and his like dynamic kind of performances that you've had against each other. I wouldn't say you've ever had that standout moment, and I'm really hoping you can kind of get that in this tournament. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I kind of want to flip the question on you. Chug has insinuated that he believes that you are his most difficult opponent out of everyone in the tournament.
Yeah.
Obviously, down to his own personal opinion. I would like to ask you, who do you find the most difficult to play? Or is there a game that you just think, oh, I really do not want to play this game?
I think we're playing against you. I already get into my head that I'm going to lose because you are superior in quality. And you just know how to play the game. You always seem to learn the little tricks on FIFA and the skill moves, and you know that pace is up there. Chipping's now OP, and I just don't learn those things. And I just always get it in my head that I'm going to lose. I think quite a few of us managers do that when we play you. We get into our head that we're going to lose.
That's the mentality I'm going for.
Yeah, so we do lose. But honestly, up until this tournament, Ryan was always the one I just could not get my head around. I was always losing 4-0, 4-1 in most of the other tournaments, and I could not get my head around playing Ryan. I don't know whether it's because he didn't go to uni with us. I didn't really know what he was like in terms of FIFA. So these tournaments are the only time I've ever seen Ryan play FIFA. Whereas you boys, we all played at uni, so I know what you boys already like. But I just could not get my head around beating Ryan, and so to do that a few days ago, that was a big achievement for me. That was a stepping stone. Because obviously, like I said, I'd never feel like I'm going to beat you. Me and Sam always seem to play each other last in the tournament. We always have piss about games, putting the keeper up top.
Keepers go up top.
Yeah, keepers go up top. Me and Lucas always have good games, and I always seem to manage to win those in the end. And I've obviously did the double on Chug last tournament, so I've sort of already always beaten all the others or had fun with all the other players. And Ryan was the one I could not do anything with. Like, we don't really have piss about games. He'd always beat me. I'd always get mad. So to actually finally beat him was a big relief, I think.
And I feel like you set the snowball effect on him as well. So
it seems like it, because he's now lost to Lucas, and he lost to Chug in a friendly 8-0.
8-0.
I know it was a friendly, but
then we don't know the context of it. Obviously, that was kind of behind closed doors as well, so not a lot of us knew about it. From the sounds of it, they rotated.
Yeah.
But 8-0, even with rotation, is a little bit worrying. So
it is, yeah.
Hopefully, he can shed some light on his when he does his interview to talk about that as well. But, yeah. So obviously, last kind of sort of question I wanted to go to you as well. Like you've commented on your team and how well you've clicked with them already, and they seem to have that style of play of getting down the wing and crossing the ball in. I just wanted to know: is there players who just naturally were gifted with it already, or have you had to teach them? Have there been any players that you would say are standout and have really shocked you by understanding the style of play you want to go for?
Yeah, I think Suarez, my left winger, and De La Cruz, one of my cams, he's a left cam, so they seem to have linked up really well. Obviously, the one goal I scored against you was a De La Cruz corner into a Suarez header, and it just worked.
And that was a powerful header.
It was a good header, and then he had a couple of other headers in that game as well. So those two really have settled in perfectly. My right wing, I haven't done a great deal. I've got another right wing who's only like 20 years old, I think. So those two are sort of interchanging at the moment, trying to work out which one's better. And it's the same with my striker. I've actually scored quite a few goals already compared to most tournaments.
I was gonna say, it seems like you are a lot more competitive and are able to get the goals, and you're not leaking as much from the back as much anymore. I know, obviously, conceded 4 against me, but for a long time you held it to 2. Against Lucas, I think you won. What was it? 2-1?
2-1, and then 2-1 against Ryan as well.
Yeah, so you're not leaking the goals that you used to, and I don't know whether is that a combination of the boys haven't figured out how to play FIFA yet, or do you think that is you've done a lot of work defensively?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think against Ryan, certainly, I don't think he knows FIFA 21 yet, but I think you obviously know how to play. Chug knows how to play. Lucas, he knows how to play the games, and he's not like high quality, but like me, but he knows how to play the games. So I think it is a bit of me learning how to defend as well. Sort of doing the whole I control the CDMs and then let the centre backs do their thing until like the last minute, and then put a tackle in. That's what Chug sort of taught me. Whereas before, I would go on to control a centre back, run out to the striker, which obviously leave a massive gap in behind the centre back, and the other striker would fill that gap, and you go through and score. Whereas now, if I'm running around with the CDMs more, letting the CBs like be computer and do their automatic job, and then when you break through, that's when I control the CBs and hopefully get a block in.
Yeah.
And that seems to be working a lot more than just running out with a centre back halfway up the pitch and then leaving a massive gap.
And that's a habit myself that even I'm trying to still force myself to do. I do find myself bringing that out. So it happens to all of us.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's been a really good tournament so far. I think
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
We had a big break, obviously, because we do these tournaments during lockdown. So obviously this is our second lockdown in the UK, or in England even. But the first one ended at I can't remember when it ended now.
Oh, I'd say roughly like June, July time.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
so obviously it's now November, so we had 3 months off. So considering we've had 3 months off, I think it's been a really good tournament. I think obviously, as we say, Lucas has already beat Ryan. I've beat Ryan and I've beat Lucas. Chug's beat Sam, but Ryan's beat Chug, and it's just anything could happen. Honestly, anything.
Yeah, who knows?
It's exciting. I can't wait.
It is. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I need to tune into all the games now because I didn't watch the Lucas Ryan one because I was watching my home team Argyle Plymouth, and all of a sudden Lucas posted in the chat, "I'm in his head," and then I tune in to the live stream, and it's 4-1 to Lucas, and I'm just a bit like, what is going on?
Yeah, could not believe that. I was very, very shocked by that one. Because Lucas, he's had a win before, hasn't he? Who did he beat?
He's either beaten you, or I think he'd beaten Chug, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
I think there's a lot of pressure on Chug this tournament. We said it before that he's the creator of all these tournaments. He plays a lot of FIFA with you boys doing your ultimate team and your career modes, but he's never actually been to the final. Or has he been to the final once?
No, he's never been to the final.
Never been to the final. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Chug. I think he needs something to show for his CEO ownership. I think it's always nice for a company to see their leader leading from the front.
Yeah.
But he seems quite relaxed.
Yeah, and I think as he said in his interview as well, he's said normally mentally he throws himself out of the game and ends up losing by 6, but was able to get the game back to a place where he could have won against Ryan. In the first one, when he went 2-0 down, he said the chug of the pass would have gone down to 6, but he kept it competitive. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to see what he can do in the tournament as well.
Yes, he's thrown a huge claim out there that he's going to win every single remaining group game.
Yeah, it's sort of a difficult one because as the interviewer, as the assistant interviewee sort of thing, I don't want to throw my managerial opinion out there too much.
Yeah,
I feel like I need to stay professional. But when he said, I'm going to go the rest of the tournament without losing now, I was a bit like, I'm sorry? I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
We'll have to wait and see.
It's not going to happen because I'm going to beat him.
So
yeah. I'm going to beat him next time. So
I look forward to that as well.
I'm not going to make a huge claim like that, but my sort of secret, it's not going to be a secret now, my secret goal coming into this tournament, based on my scoring record, was to score in every game. So I'm currently on for that. Obviously, I've scored 2 against Lucas, 2 against Ryan, and 1 against you. So I am on, and 2 against Chug. So I have scored almost 2 every game. So I'm on for my secret goal. It's not secret anymore. It's out there for the world to see.
But I think that's good, though. I think the boys need to know what you want from them.
Yeah, exactly. So we shall see if either I score in every game or Chug wins every game. Be interesting to see if any of these claims come true. Is there any claims you would like to make before we sign off?
No, because I'm the much more relaxed one this year. So
done.
I'm not going to make any claims.
I'm
just happy to enjoy the tournament.
I tried to bait you there, but well done. So we will see you all again next time. I'll have a different manager with me next time. There's some games tomorrow, and then we're not playing till Sunday. So
Yeah, big gap till Sunday then.
yeah, so have fun in the meantime, and we will see you all very, very soon.